So I thought this was legitimately sent hell when I saw it. I thought this was Chris B. Hayne. If you guys don't remember, if you guys know the Chris B. Hayne account, obviously not Chris B. Haynes. And I thought this was a troll. I genuinely thought this was a troll because I was like, there is no way. There is no way that this is real. And the LA Clippers have just sent Chris Paul home. Have they waived him? No, because they can't waive him. If they waive him, they don't have enough in their salary cap to get another player. They can't replace him. So they have sent him home. They have sent him home and he's done. Like, his career might be over. Chris Paul might not play another NBA game because they're not going to get rid of him. Like, in the middle of a road trip at 3 a.m., Chris Paul tweeted out at 3 a.m. his time, just found out I'm being sent home. At 3 a.m. on the middle of a road trip, they just said, go home. Go home. Like, it's 3 p.m. my time. It was 7 hours ago that this was there. Like, Chris Paul, I mean this when I say this. Get rid of him. Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't care if he doesn't play. What Chris Paul did for your friend. Chris Paul has, outside of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Paul George, as far as players are concerned, nobody is as responsible for the current success of the Oklahoma City Thunder as Chris Paul. Like, what he did to help Shai, what he did in that season, what he did for his own value, like all of these things. Chris Paul, get him to Oklahoma, and I want him to win a ring. I don't care how much he plays. Could Chris Paul actually be a positive for OKC? Yeah. I don't know if he plays in every single game. I don't know if every single time he's if he's going to be in the rotation come playoff time. I don't really care. I think he can give you veteran leadership, and I think he can really, really help your team. I think he can really help a team out, and I do think in general that Chris Paul is somebody that deserves to have a better ending to his career than this, because Chris Paul was good last season for San Antonio. Good for a 40-year-old, that is. But he was good. Like, I thought he was absolutely fine. He did his job. He played okay. He was, for a 40-year-old, he was really, really good. He was really, really good. And, yeah, for me, I'm like, Chris Paul is one of those players that you've got to always respect Chris Paul. And what the LA Clippers have done to him, this is somebody who gave, I'm not going to say half his career because he's only there for 6 years, but like gave half his prime to LA. This is the guy who put LA Clippers on the map. The Clippers were nothing before Chris Paul got there. This was a guy who, him and Blake Griffin, really were the reason why the Clippers are relevant right now. And those Clippers teams, they were moderately competitive in a tough Western Conference. He beat the San Antonio Spurs in the playoffs. And I will use the phrase, he beat the Spurs, because I stand by that. He was the reason why they beat the Spurs. Not anyone else. He was the reason why they beat the Spurs. And it is a very, very interesting thing anyway to see. And look, when it comes to the Clippers absolutely have done Chris Paul wrong. I probably should follow Chris B. Haynes, but the Clippers have absolutely done it wrong. Getting caught in this final year in the league when you have a chance to publicly embarrass the most important player in the history of the franchise. Yeah, genuinely, the most important player in the history of your franchise, and you couldn't even just let him kid out, start giving him DMPs. Is he a negative? Is Chris Paul a negative to the team? And what has happened if Chris Paul is a negative to a team? Chris Paul has never been a negative to a team in his life. Even the Warriors, who he had rivalry with, weren't going out of their way to be like, oh, he's toxic or he's a cancer to the team or anything. He was kind of their last roll of the dice. And look, at the end of the day, it is it's really bad. It's really bad. Like, I'm just in shock. I just can't see what the Clippers are doing. Like, they brought him back as a kind of farewell player, and I understand things aren't working out, but it's not his fault. You don't play him. You don't play the guy. And I just don't see how you can not play a guy who did so much for you, and then when you're terrible, and then just let him walk. Then you're just going to let him walk. Because at the end of the day, look, if you're going to let this guy walk, cut him. Let him go play where he wants. Let him go trade him. But right now, it sounds like they're just going to let him sit at home. Because again, they cannot re-sign him. Because of the way the cap is, they cannot re-sign Chris Paul. Or not even not re-sign Chris Paul. They can't sign him, period. Or say they can't re-sign anyone else. And another team can just go and sign him, period. I don't know what they want to do. Do they want to not let him go to Oklahoma? Do they want him to not be able to decide where he plays in the future? Is that what it is? Because it could very well be. It could very well be a case of whatever way Chris Paul left, them being so petty that they just don't want Chris Paul to sign for another team of his choice. That they're going to trade him to a team that are not going to waive him. But again, how many teams are not going to waive Chris Paul? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Maybe there's a trade already there. If there's a trade already there for Chris Paul, it is what it is. If the trade is there, ready to go, then okay, look, it is what it is. It makes sense. But at the end of the day, it's just a shocking situation all around because, look, everyone thought this was going to be a great farewell for Chris Paul. Some people thought he had more than one season left in him because he was good last year at San Antonio. But like it's like him and LeBron, like he got old quick. He really did get old quick. But yeah, look, it's a situation now with Chris Paul where he's possibly done. There's a chance that the LA Clippers have Chris Paul sitting there on the sidelines and not playing another basketball game, which would be sad. Which would be really, 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 really sad because Chris Paul is one of the greatest point guards to ever play. Chris Paul is one of the 40 greatest players, it's probably overshooting him, one of the 50 greatest players to ever play. Maybe 40. If you want to argue he's better than Steve Nash, I don't think so. He was better than Steve Nash, I don't think so, but you can definitely make that argument. How many All-NBA? He made 5 All-NBA first teams in an era where it was not hard, where it was hard to make All-NBA teams. Like, if you look here again at the All-NBA teams from... Just going to see, what was his first one? His first All-NBA team was in 2007, 2008, where he made the first team. 08, 09, he was on the second team. 9, 10, was not on an NBA team, All-NBA team. Made the third team once. Made the first team in 2012. Made the first team in 2013. Made the first team in 2014. And... Sorry, there was only 1 point. Oh, no, it was 2 guard slots. Second team in 2015. Second team 2016. Like, Chris Paul has made... Because I know he made 2021 of the NBA first team. He's made 11 All-NBA teams. He's made 11 All-NBA teams. Which is kind of crazy. Really crazy. And to see his career go out like this for the franchise that he carried is awful. It's honestly awful to see.